mentor, producer. He does it all. And we were just talking about Chris Brown and Rihanna being back together. Mr. Gaskins, having been in an abusive relationship himself, got himself out of that situation. And we've got calls this morning. Streetz 94.5, good morning, how are you? What's your comment on that?
Well, it's a couple points. One is I know for sure that she's speaking of an exception and not the rule. And what we can't do is base our life off of an exception. And then two, the question is, what did they do to change? I'm sure there was some counseling in there, there was some coaching, there was a desire to change, as she said, when two people want to work. And so that's the key, that if we see people together and they're not seeking out a life coach, they're not getting counseling or therapy, you know, they're not changing the situation. It's almost like saying, hey, I'm overweight and I'm not going to work out, but in 9 years this weight will be off of me. But we're just sitting there and we're continuing to do the same thing. So that's the key, that it's impossible to change unless you change your behavior, your actions, and what you're putting into your mind. So I think that's the key that needs to be pointed out. It just didn't change over those 9 years. They had to go get help.
Tony Gaskins is live in the studio with us this morning. I just tweeted out, what happens when you can, I'm sorry, somebody, that ain't it. How can women get what they really want in a man without compromising?
Well, you have to compromise sometimes, but you have to realize that compromise doesn't mean compromising your self-worth and your self-respect.
Gotcha.
So there's a difference between standards and preferences. A standard is, I need a God-fearing man. A preference is, I need a man that's 6'4". So you may have to compromise on that 6'4", but not on a man that
loves God.
Yeah, that loves God or doesn't do drugs or, you know, get drunk.
So that's the 6'4" and a man that loves God. Wow.
You know, see, and that's the thing. A lot of women saying, hey, I need a guy 6 foot, 6 figures, and a 6-pack. And as I say, last I heard 666 was a devil. So you got to realize what you're asking for.
Okay, so you got to compromise something. Okay, well me, you know, I'm single but dating. But, you know, I just don't get men now. Like, I don't understand, like, good girls, they're not going after good girls. They want O's, as Akini said, O's be winning. Like, what? I don't understand. Please help us understand men.
Right. You know what? Those men, they're in a sprint. But a relationship is a marathon. So you got to realize that as a woman that you're running a marathon and not a sprint.
Okay.
So the O's, they winning right now. When it really counts, they're going to be losing. And so that's what you have to realize, that when you see a man that's chasing strippers, that's not a man. That's a grown boy.
Okay.
And you have to wait to attract a real man. Now, they're few. There's not a whole lot, but they are enough to go around.
No, okay.
More questions for Tony Gaskins, 443-520-945.